Hi, welcome to Calm Channel. 7 brutal Stoic laws that'll kill your negative thinking. Rewire your mind. Stoicism. Your mind has been trained to suffer. Most people believe their negative thoughts are the truth. They wake up with anxiety. They replay old mistakes. They imagine the worst possible future. And after years of doing this, they start believing that this is simply who they are. But the Stoics would strongly disagree. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Not because thoughts create magic, but because thoughts shape perception. Your mind is not broken. It has simply been trained. Every day, your brain absorbs patterns. Every fear repeated becomes stronger. Every doubt rehearsed becomes familiar. Every negative story becomes a mental habit. And habits eventually become identity. This is why many people spend years trapped in emotional chaos, not because reality is against them, but because their minds have been programmed to focus on what is missing, what is wrong, and what might go wrong. The Stoics understood something powerful. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. The moment you understand this truth, you begin taking back control. Imagine standing beside a river. Thoughts flow past like water. Some thoughts are useful. Some are destructive. Most people jump into the river and allow themselves to be carried away by every fear, every insecurity, every emotional reaction. The Stoic stands on the shore. He watches. He observes. He chooses. This is the beginning of sculpted grace, the rare ability to remain calm, disciplined, and powerful while the world around you becomes chaotic. Negative thinking survives because it is automatic. Strength begins when awareness becomes intentional. Today, you will learn 7 brutal Stoic laws that challenge everything your mind has been taught. These laws are not comfortable. They are not soft. But they can transform the way you think, feel, and live. The first law begins with a truth that most people spend their entire lives avoiding.
Law number 1. Reality is not hurting you. Your interpretation is. Most people suffer twice. First, from the event itself. Second, from the story they create about the event. A mistake happens, and they call themselves a failure. Someone criticizes them, and they question their worth. A challenge appears, and they convince themselves they cannot handle it. The Stoics saw through this illusion centuries ago. They understood that reality and interpretation are not the same thing. The event is neutral. The meaning you attach to it creates the emotional experience. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that the mind has the power to shape its response to every situation. This does not mean pretending pain does not exist. It means refusing to add unnecessary suffering to unavoidable pain. Think about how often your mind creates stories. Stories about rejection. Stories about failure. Stories about what others think of you. Stories about a future that has not happened. Most of these stories are assumptions, not facts. Yet they control emotions, decisions, and behavior. The first brutal Stoic law demands that you challenge every negative interpretation. Ask yourself, is this absolutely true? What evidence supports this thought? Am I seeing reality clearly, or am I seeing it through fear? This simple habit creates distance between you and negativity. And in that distance, wisdom appears. The man with sculpted grace does not react to every thought. He observes. He questions. He chooses. That choice is where freedom begins. When you stop believing every negative story your mind creates, you stop being controlled by them. Reality has power, but your interpretation often has far more.
Law number 2. Your thoughts deserve inspection, not obedience. One of the greatest mistakes people make is assuming that every thought in their mind is true. A negative thought appears, and they immediately believe it. A fear enters their mind,
and they treat it like a fact. A doubt whispers in the darkness, and they surrender their confidence to it. The Stoics refused to live this way. They understood that the mind produces thousands of thoughts every day, but not all thoughts deserve trust. Some thoughts are wise. Some thoughts are useless. And some thoughts are completely false. Yet most people never stop to examine them. They simply obey. Imagine a stranger knocking on your door. Would you invite them inside without asking who they are? Of course not. Then why allow every thought unrestricted access to your mind? The Stoic treats thoughts like visitors. Each one must earn its place. When a thought says, "You are not capable," question it. When a thought says, "You will fail," challenge it. When a thought says, "You are not strong enough," demand evidence. Many of the thoughts that create suffering disappear the moment they are examined, because they survive only in darkness. They survive only when accepted without question. Wisdom begins when observation replaces reaction. The mind becomes powerful when awareness becomes stronger than emotion. This is the foundation of mental discipline. You are not required to obey every thought that enters your consciousness. You are required to examine it.
Law number 3. What you resist internally controls you. Most people spend years fighting battles that cannot be won. They fight the past. They fight reality. They fight mistakes that happened long ago. And without realizing it, they give those things power over their lives. The Stoics understood a truth that many people never learn. What you refuse to accept will continue to control you. Think about the energy wasted wishing the past had been different. The argument that should not have happened. The opportunity that was lost. The decision that still brings regret. No amount of worry can change any of it. Yet millions of people carry these memories every day like heavy chains around their minds. Marcus Aurelius taught that we must accept what has happened and focus on what can be done now. Acceptance is not weakness. Acceptance is not surrender. Acceptance is the courage to face reality exactly as it is. Only then can meaningful action begin. When you resist reality, you suffer. When you accept reality, you gain power. A storm does not become smaller because you hate it. A challenge does not disappear because you complain about it. Life becomes easier when you stop demanding that reality be different. The Stoic warrior understands this. He does not waste energy arguing with the past. He does not waste energy wishing for a perfect world. Instead, he asks a better question. What can I do with the situation in front of me? That question transforms victims into leaders. It transforms fear into action. It transforms negativity into growth. The man with sculpted grace understands that peace is not found by controlling everything around him. Peace is found by accepting what cannot be changed and directing his strength toward what can. The moment you stop resisting reality, you stop fighting a war that can never be won. Law number 4. Your attention is your greatest weapon. Most people think their greatest asset is money, talent, intelligence, or opportunity. The Stoics believed otherwise. Your greatest asset is your attention. Because whatever receives your attention eventually shapes your mind. Every day, countless things compete for your focus. Negative news, arguments, comparison, fear, distractions, social media, the opinions of strangers. Without realizing it, many people spend hours feeding their minds with negativity and then wonder why they feel anxious, exhausted, and unmotivated. The answer is simple. The mind becomes what it consumes. If you constantly focus on problems,
your mind becomes trained to find more problems. If you constantly focus on fear, your mind becomes trained to expect danger everywhere. If you constantly focus on what you lack, your mind becomes blind to what you already have. Marcus Aurelius understood that attention is like sunlight. Whatever it shines upon begins to grow. This is why disciplined people guard their attention carefully. They understand that focus is power. They do not allow every distraction to enter their minds. They choose deliberately what deserves their energy. The man with sculpted grace knows that attention is a form of investment. Every thought receives a piece of your life. Every worry receives a piece of your peace. Every distraction receives a piece of your potential. So choose wisely. Ask yourself, does this deserve my attention? Will this make me stronger? Will this help me?
Law number 5. Comfort creates weak thinking. Most people believe comfort is the goal of life. The Stoics believed comfort can become a trap. Because when a person becomes addicted to comfort, they become afraid of anything difficult. They avoid challenges. They avoid risk. They avoid discomfort. And slowly, without realizing it, their world becomes smaller. Negative thinking often grows in comfortable environments. A mind that is never challenged begins to fear every obstacle. A person who avoids hardship starts imagining problems bigger than they really are. The less discomfort you face, the more powerful your fears become. This is why the Stoics deliberately practiced hardship, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they understood that discomfort builds resilience. Seneca would sometimes live with less than he needed, reminding himself that he could survive difficult conditions. He trained his mind to remain calm even when life was uncertain. The lesson was simple. The more capable you become, the less fear controls you. Every difficult workout strengthens the body. Every difficult conversation strengthens confidence. Every act of discipline strengthens character. When you willingly face discomfort, you teach your mind a powerful lesson. I can handle more than I think. That lesson destroys many forms of negative thinking.
Law number 6. Stop needing validation. One of the most dangerous traps in life is the need for validation. Many people spend their entire lives trying to earn approval from others. They change their behavior to be accepted. They hide their true thoughts to avoid criticism. They measure their worth by the opinions of strangers. And without realizing it, they hand over control of their happiness to people who were never meant to hold it. The Stoics saw this as a form of slavery. Because the moment your self-worth depends on external approval, your peace becomes fragile. A compliment makes you feel valuable. A criticism makes you feel worthless. Praise lifts you up. Disapproval tears you down. Your emotions become controlled by forces outside your control. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that the opinions of others are temporary, unpredictable, and often uninformed. Why allow them to decide your value? The truth is simple. People will judge you no matter what you do. If you succeed, some will envy you. If you fail, some will mock you. If you stay silent, they will misunderstand you. If you speak honestly, they may disagree with you. Trying to please everyone is a battle you can never win. The man with sculpted grace understands this deeply.
Law number 7. Become the guardian of your mind. Imagine living in a city with no walls, no gates, and no protection. Anyone could enter. Anyone could cause damage. Anyone could control. This is exactly how many people treat their minds. They allow every negative opinion, every fearful thought, every distraction, and every piece of bad news to enter without resistance. Then they wonder why they feel exhausted, anxious and overwhelmed. The Stoics understood that the mind must be protected. Just as a wise king protects his kingdom, a wise person protects their inner world. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your concern. Not every problem deserves your energy. Yet many people give away their mental peace freely. They carry worries that are not theirs. They absorb negativity from others. They spend hours thinking about things they cannot control. And slowly, their minds become crowded with unnecessary burdens. The man with sculpted grace lives differently. He becomes the guardian of his mind. Before accepting a thought, he examines it. Before reacting emotionally, he pauses. Before allowing negativity to grow, he questions it. He understands that every thought allowed to stay inside the mind has the power to influence emotions, actions, and character. That is why mental discipline is so important. Guard your thoughts carefully. Protect your focus. Protect your peace. Protect your energy. The world will always contain negativity. There will always be criticism. There will always...
The power of sculpted grace. There is a kind of strength that the world rarely notices. It does not make noise. It does not seek attention. It does not need applause. Yet it is stronger than anger, stronger than fear, and stronger than the opinions of others. The Stoics called it inner mastery. Here, we call it sculpted grace. Like a statue carved from solid marble, character is shaped through pressure. Every hardship becomes a chisel. Every disappointment becomes a lesson. Every moment of discipline removes another layer of weakness. Most people believe strength means dominating others. The Stoics knew better. True strength is dominating yourself. Controlling your emotions when anger demands a reaction. Controlling your thoughts when negativity seeks control. Controlling your actions when comfort invites laziness. Anyone can act wisely when life is easy. But when life becomes difficult, character is revealed. The man with sculpted grace remains calm during chaos. He remains patient during frustration. He remains focused during uncertainty. Not because he has no struggles, but because he has trained himself to rise above them. This kind of power cannot be bought. It cannot be borrowed. It cannot be given by another person. It must be earned through daily discipline. Every day you choose wisdom over impulse, you become stronger. Every day you choose purpose over distraction, you become stronger. Every day you choose courage over fear, you become stronger. And eventually, your mind becomes a place of peace rather than conflict. That is the hidden reward of Stoicism. Not perfection, not an easy life, but a powerful mind that remains steady.
Rewire your mind, reclaim your life. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this. Negative thinking is not your destiny. It is a habit, and habits can be changed. For years, your mind may have been trained to expect the worst, to focus on fear, to replay mistakes, to doubt your abilities. But the Stoics remind us that the mind is trainable. Just as the body grows stronger through exercise, the mind grows stronger through discipline. The 7 brutal Stoic laws you learned today are not theories. They are tools. Use them daily. Question your interpretations. Inspect your thoughts. Accept reality. Protect your attention. Embrace discomfort. Release the need for validation. Guard your mind like a fortress. Do this consistently, and something remarkable begins to happen. The noise inside your head becomes quieter. Your emotions become steadier. Your decisions become wiser.
Your confidence becomes deeper. You stop reacting to life and start responding with intention. You stop being controlled by negativity and begin controlling your focus. This transformation does not happen overnight. It happens one thought at a time, one decision at a time, one disciplined day at a time. The Stoic path has never been about becoming perfect. It is about becoming stronger than yesterday, calmer than yesterday, wiser than yesterday. So when this video ends, do not simply admire these ideas. Practice them, live them, become them. Because the greatest battle you will ever fight